If you visit any Facebook community group, I guarantee you that you're going to find people griping about taxes and pointing fingers. But often the fingers are pointed in the wrong direction. It's common for residents to point fingers at schools for rising costs of real estate taxes and demand that budget cuts be made as a solution. Well, it's not that simple. Education funding is complicated, and there's little chance that I can explain it to you without putting yourself and me to sleep. However, I think I can provide you with enough information that's interesting and will keep you awake and allow you to decide where to point your fingers. In 1993, the New Hampshire Supreme Court ruled that the state must provide a constitutionally adequate education for every K-12 public school student. That was followed in 1997 with a ruling that the school funding formula was unconstitutional. The New Hampshire Supreme Court then ordered the legislature and the governor to clearly define the components of a constitutionally adequate education, cost them out, and pay for them with taxes that were equal across the state. More than 2 decades have passed since those rulings, and what has transpired since then has been, in my estimation, a dereliction of duty on the part of our legislature and the governors. It was pretty easy to define a constitutionally adequate education because other states had already done it. But what they did to price it out was absolutely laughable. I'll address the cost of education shortly. First, let's look at the tax situation. The court said that the education must be funded through equal taxes, but the legislature has done nothing to equalize the taxes and in fact has made it worse. As a result, some of the richest communities pay the lowest per pupil cost while the other and the poorest communities pay the most. This chart shows how much a person who owns a $200,000 home would pay per year. How equal is it for a person in Malton Borough to pay $814 and a person in Claremont to pay more than 6 times that rate? Here's another illustration of how unfair the funding formula is. Let's drop into a class in Timberline Regional, which serves 4 towns. Meet Johnny from Atkinson, Mary from Danville, Bill from Plaistow, and Jane from Sandown. Their parents each own a $200,000 house, and their children sit next to each other in the same class. But Johnny's parents pay $2,744 per year. Mary's parents pay $4,104. Bill's pays $3,110, and Jane's pays $3,758. Not exactly equal, and they're sitting right next to each other. If I was to grade the state on equal taxation, that would get an F. But that doesn't even begin to tell the story. Because when we look at what the state says adequate education should cost, I would have to move down the alphabet and give the state a grade of a Z. To show you how ridiculous the formula is, the state says that Pittsfield should be able to provide an adequate education for its 581 students for $2,690,033. But Pittsfield's current budget is over $10 million. If we go by what the state says, there must be an awful lot of waste in that extravagant budget. Let's cut out some of that fat. Okay, hold on to your hats because we're going to eliminate 5 of 6 elementary school teachers, all art, music, physical education classes, all school nurses and medical support, all transportation services, 1/2 of the secretaries in the district, teachers for the business ed, family, consumer science, and health, 1 of 4 science teachers, all building grounds, maintenance, and repairs, Concord Regional Technical School classes, all foreign language classes, all behavioral staff, 1/2 of the custodians, health insurance and benefits, all field trips, all athletic programs, the district reading specialist, 34.5 paraprofessional positions, purchases of equipment, supplies, books, subscriptions, technology, and English for foreign speakers. I guess that should do it. Oh, wait, no, it doesn't. So here goes round 2. Let's eliminate all substitute teachers, 3 special education teachers, development of courses and workshops, mentoring of teachers, the technical personnel, equipment training and software, consulting specialists, travel reimbursements, all co-curricular programs, a summer recreation program, all guidance personnel, substance abuse counselor, services for special needs students, stipends for teacher summer work, stipends for teacher leaders, all library and media staff, school board stipends, school board expenses, including lawyers and auditing, all photocopiers and their supplies, maintenance of the athletic field, 1 school principal, all office incidentals, and reduce the superintendent to 1 day a week. Well, I guess we're there now. Oh, wait, no, we're not. We're only down to a little over $5 million. In order to get to the state figure, we have to eliminate almost everything else and half of the remaining teachers, which leaves those left with class sizes of 60 kids and no resources. Are you beginning to see where we need to point the fingers? I'll offer you just one more item to illustrate how poorly the state's doing. This chart shows how much the state chips in to educate our children, keeping in mind that you and I pay the rest through our local real estate taxes. Compared to all the other states, we are dead last. Start contacting your state representatives today. Demand that they start adequately and fairly funding education. Here are a couple things that you can suggest. Tell your senator to immediately pass legislation to restore the stabilization aid to the poorest districts to the 2012 levels. It already passed the House 250 to 96. Ask them to pass House Bill 709 to provide disparity aid in 2021. That already passed the House 262 to 82. Have them pass House Bill 551 to establish a funded commission to recommend new laws and a funding system. It passed the House 207 to 148. Do it today. You owe it to your children to secure the future of our state. For a complete explanation of education funding in New Hampshire, visit RCTV's coverage of John Tobin's Education Funding 101, presented at Raymond High School on May 14, 2019. Visit raymondtv.vibit.com and search for Funding 101.